Dedrick, he's a very outgoing person. He's very outspoken. He's very loving. He's a comic, a big comic. We could be in our house and the house is solid quiet. He would come in and say something. Everybody busts out and laughing.
It was very comedic, very comedic. I know when we were all together, it wouldn't be a dry time in the room. We like to have fun. We like to laugh. Like even with the movies that we chose, it was always something that we could laugh at or laugh about, something that we could talk about around that nature.
He was pretty much a jokester. We had good banter. There was never a dull moment between us. Even in sadness, we could probably find some pretty dark humor in it.
So this case was back in August 4th of 2023. Officers responded to the area of I-40 westbound between Patterson Street and Wendover Avenue. They originally responded reference a single vehicle fire and with a crash. And when they got there, they located a Honda Accord that had already been extinguished. The fire had been extinguished by fire department. And when the officers arrived on scene, they were notified that there was someone in the vehicle. When they started looking at the vehicle, they located the deceased, Mr. Dedrick Woodring, and he had been shot multiple times.
Prior to Dedrick, my baby son had just gotten killed on that Thursday. So we were doing things in play of him. I had told my son, I said, I'm going upstairs and get some rest. And I heard him and my husband calling me. And I was like, what do they want? And my son said, Ma, can you come downstairs? The police is outside. I'm like, why? They don't already told me my son was dead. So I goes outside and they was like, are you Coralisa Davis? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, well, do you have a son by the name of Dedrick Lee Wooding? I said, yes. She was like, well, he was in an accident. I said, okay, then where is he? She said, well, he was killed, and after that, everything went blank to me.
We're still looking forward to find who the shooter is. There was some debris that leads us to believe that there was an Infiniti QX60 that was involved in this crash, that maybe was either involved in the shooting or had somehow been hit by Dedrick's vehicle. We just need that person to come forward and tell their side of what happened that night.
Knowing that he passed away very suddenly, right after Sean, and in just a crazy way that no one would have ever expected, has been kind of hard on everybody in the family, because we just all want to know why.
Dedrick was a very outgoing individual. He was a father. He was a son. He had a brother. Actually had two brothers. And so it was very tight-knit with his family. They were a very close family, spoke a lot with each other on a regular basis.
He has a son. When Dedrick was killed, his son turned, 13? He had just got into his teenager stage, so his birthday was the 5th when Dedrick was killed on the 4th. So his legacy was his son. He really looked up to his son.
The loss of him for me is feeling left alone, because I lost both of my brothers at the same time. So I've always been in the middle, him being the oldest, then my younger brother. So it's like I'm in the middle by myself now.
I know for his mother, it's been hard on her, just not knowing, and for all of us, just not knowing what happened.
As of right now, what we need to solve this case is we really need somebody to come forward with information as to who the shooter was. There were no witnesses on the highway that stayed on scene or contacted the police. There was a couple people that stopped as a result of the accident, but nobody had any information about the shooting. So we would need somebody to come forward and give us information about who was driving a vehicle that shot into Dedrick's vehicle.
I just wish somebody would come forward and give us some type of idea, a clue, or something to this case, or give her something to go on, because it's going on 3 years now, and we would like to know something to put some type of picture with this case, because it's hard. It really is.
That's the most painful part about it all, because it's like you kind of want it to be over, but it'll never be over because you don't know who did it or why they did it, what was the motives behind it. So it's like you have all these questions going through your head, but you don't have any answers.
Just if anybody knows anything about that night on I-40, if anybody would like to share anything, just to bring us closure possibly, or to find out who killed him, that would be something that I think would be a blessing that would come out of this interview.
It's very important because not only does it help us solve the case, but it brings peace and justice to those families. It gives those families an opportunity to fully grieve their loved one's loss. And it also shows the trust between the public. Once again, if it's an anonymous tip, we will keep those tips anonymously. And then it allows us as the investigators to bring justice to these families for that. So in a situation like this, in any case, it's extremely important for the public to work with us so that we can find justice for these families.
I feel as though somebody knows something, but they won't come forward and say something. And I just like to know who was it and why did you do it? I have my days and I have my moments. I'm still dealing with it, and it's hard. It's hard to get over a child that you would think you wouldn't be burying. I always thought they would be burying me and me not burying them, but it was the other way around, so.